Good evening, America. Tonight I want to play a game or announce a game that we all play, but we usually don't like to admit it, particularly to ourselves. And once I name it, you'll see it, you'll recognize it. The game is called It's Always Something Else. You know, the headline isn't the story, the speech isn't the message, the question isn't the real question. Tonight, let's talk about It's Always Something Else. Now, advertising is really an easy mark. It really is. It's everywhere, and we've gotten used to not believing it. We've gotten used to sort of ignoring it. One commercial we keep seeing is Red Bull. Red Bull gives you wings. Well, you know it's caffeine and sugar. However, a group of individuals actually decided to see what would happen if they took Red Bull at their word. And they argued that the commercial would give them wings. Well, Red Bull settled for $13 million, not admitting wrongdoing, just quietly changed the language, and nobody got any wings. Now, we're all used to the burger commercials for all the chains. And I just mentioned the Whopper because I used to be a Burger King fan. And when you look at the commercial, there's this big bun and the meat's spilling over and it's gleaming, it's everything. When you get to the counter, what arrives? Well, a group sued. And they argued that the actual burger was 35% smaller than what was advertised. They won. Again, settling out of court. And Burger King never admitted any, like Red Bull. They never admitted any wrongdoing, but they settled out of court, which leads me to believe that maybe a group of us should get together and start suing advertisers to see, maybe we can make a living off of this. Who knows? Okay. Volkswagen. Maybe is $25 a good price for a pizza? If you can afford it, it's a good price. If it's beyond your budget or something else would be a better choice for you, then it's not a good price. Remember, money is to bring us what we need in life, to bring us happiness, to bring us joy, and to pay bills so we can live. Okay? So Volkswagen spent years marketing their clean diesel car, eco-friendly, low emissions, good for the planet. Well, special software allowed the cars to pass emissions tests while releasing up to 40 times, I guess, the legal nitrogen oxide levels. But the car knew when it was being tested. It performed differently for the exam than it did in real life. What genius that was in terms of software development. Maybe an AI knew it was being tested, so it changed things. They got caught. $30 billion in fines, settlements, and buying the cars back because they got caught. Now, there's a settlement now with Siri. Can't let Apple get by. You know, Siri is your helpful assistant. Listening to Siri, and since I said that on my phone, I said the word, so Siri is now listening. However, a lot of research, I'm not sure who did this, but they pointed out that Siri was always listening. And so there's a $95 million lawsuit, and I just got something in the mail. I think each of us that owns something by Apple will get $1.98 out of the $95 million suit. Okay? Headline, we're here to serve you. the article, "We're monetizing you." Is all this malicious? Often it's something much more subtle. The ad is what they want you to feel. The product is what they actually made, and they're not always the same in the document. Remember, in advertising, you can't sell a car, you can sell the sizzle. I'm going to read some of the comments coming out. Someone just asked for advice. Please write rabbiblock@hotmail.com, and we'll meet in my Zoom room. I'll be glad to review with you, to discuss with you whatever issues may be going on with family, friends, and your own rabbi. And so I think that's a more appropriate place than these one-liners. Okay? Now, if advertisers are an easy target, so are the politicians. Now, just to be fair, this is not a left problem, a right problem, a blue problem, or a red problem, or a Democrat or Republican. This is a human problem. And that's why I'm bringing this up tonight. It's always something else. I'm fighting for working families. Every politician, right, left, center, says the same thing. But what does it mean? Which family? What fight? What does working mean to a person who has a full security detail and doesn't have to drive a car? They have a chauffeur driving maybe a bulletproof limousine, a government expense account, and probably haven't bought groceries in 20 or 30 years. I'm fighting for the working families in America. I myself haven't been to a CVS or a Costco, and I don't know how long, because someone else does the shopping for me. But I'm going to fight for every American working family. President Trump ran in 24 on bringing down the cost of living. And that was his big promise. Prices are too high, I'll fix it. One Trump voter told a reporter, "I don't blame him for the prices being high. I blame him for the prices staying high." I think that's a neat observation. And I think that's fair to say. I don't blame him for the prices being high. I blame him for the prices staying high. I think that's a fair response. Okay? It's a real person. Now, don't think that Democrats are any less guilty of this. They run on the people, on supporting the working class. And what's happened? There's a gap between speech and reality. I think we can all say with certainty Congress doesn't represent us. I don't think, you shouldn't often say never, and you shouldn't always say all of us or everyone. I think it's a pretty fair statement that we all are upset, disgusted, because we're being told one thing that's different from what's really being done. It's not partisan. We're told something, and then we look, it's not being done. Now, make America healthy again. RFK Jr. comes in. Remember, he ran for president on vaccines being dangerous, and then he accepts the Secretary of Health role in the administration that controls vaccines. The message was about health independence. The job is government health control. Now, there's really bipartisan support for Make America Healthy Again, reducing chronic diseases. But the headline, I love the headline. But the article becomes much more complicated and how we're going to carry it out. And keep in mind that the government's job is health control. It's not about health independence. There's a disconnect there. There's a disconnect. I'm a rabbi, so I should be appropriate for me to say what the Talmud says about this. Political speech is positioned so that the speaker wins, not so that you understand. Okay? Let me say that again, because this is a teaching. The political speech is positioned so that the speaker wins. It's like playing roulette. It's like going to a casino. The house always wins. You may win on occasion, and you might have fun. And if you consider it entertainment money, by all means, go to the casino. Don't go thinking you're going to beat the system, become a millionaire, or any of those things. No. Don't do that. What you want to do is consider it entertainment. And then, if it's entertainment, you can set aside this much money, and when it's gone, you're done being entertained. Okay? An argument for the sake of heaven. That's the expression. A real debate is where both sides are trying to get closer to the truth. Both sides. So you use argument, counter-argument to get to the truth. And that's what I would like from our leaders. Argument for the sake of honor. For the sake of winning is what they're doing. Their words are weapons, not bridges. And often, we do that on TikTok. You present things out of context. You do cherry picking. And you're there to antagonize. You're the speaker when you write your comments, and you want to win. I want to challenge you. Let's have an argument for the sake of heaven for getting at the truth. Easy enough. RabbiBlock@hotmail.com. We'll set up, and we'll actually discuss your quotes from the Talmud. We will. I want to do that. Now, celebrities and some of our religious leaders. And of course, the problem with celebrities is it's theatrical. And often what they do is publicity. Remember the adage, there's no such thing as bad publicity, there's only publicity. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the most vocal climate activists in the universe. Brilliant advocate, impassioned speeches, and then private jets, private yachts, year after year, high carbon consumption, while telling the rest of us, oh, we shouldn't fly, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that, because we're destroying the planet. Remember the LA wildfires just this past January? And he was posting climate change from his estate. Well, he hired private firefighters to protect property. Many people lost their homes because they couldn't afford the private firefighters. It's just too expensive. The message, the planet is in crisis. The behavior, I'm getting on my private jet and I'll let my team clean this up. Ellen DeGeneres built an entire brand, an identity around the message, be kind. That was her signature, be kind. And then reports emerged of a deeply toxic work environment behind the scenes. She faced backlash over allegations of creating a toxic work environment. Her show was canceled. There's always something. There's always something else. Be kind. But I'm not. I'm not. Televangelists, now these people, there are so many great pastors who have jobs because being a pastor doesn't pay. Even though they may have a parsonage, a place to live in provided by the church, they don't make enough money. They don't make enough money. Thousands of them. And yet we have these televangelists saying, send your seed money and God will bless you. That's not theology. That's a transaction dressed up as spirituality. That's not theology. That's a transaction dressed up as spirituality. The person who publicly wept, calling out other ministers for adultery, and then he was caught in his own scandal. The louder the condemnation, the closer the hidden door. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. Be alert, be aware when someone keeps attacking someone else. I want to stop here. Someone interjected about Islam. Islam is a sister, brother religion to Judaism. I have the highest respect and honors for Islam. Not for terrorists, not for those that twist the religion for their own gains, not those who use it for power and control, but the majority of the followers are good, honest people. Now, when any religious leader, could be a rabbi, a priest, a pastor, an imam, talks about community and then builds a kingdom around themselves, when the message is to serve God, but the subtext is serve me, that's the same game, different costume. There's always something else going on. The Talmud says it the way it should be said. A Torah scholar who inside doesn't match his outside is called not a Torah scholar. That's it. The inside has to match the outside. That's the standard. And it's a standard we should hold everyone to, including ourselves. Stop. Okay, ourselves. Now, ads, politicians, celebrities, they're really easy targets, aren't they? They are. And we can all agree to it. In many ways, we've become numb to it. We've become numb to it all. The question I want to ask us this evening, the harder question, is why do we do this to each other? Why do we do this something else always? People come to me and ask questions. Very rarely is the first question the question. That's what gave rise to tonight, by the way. It's always something else. Rabbi, does Judaism believe in life after death? I wait for the question. Because what they're really asking is, my father, mother, sister, brother, a friend just died, and I need to know where they are. Why not just ask me? Why do you have to ask this question when that's not your question? There's nothing wrong with saying to me, Rabbi, my grandfather died, and I really would like to know, is he somewhere? And if so, where is that? And not just in Judaism, do you know what some of the other religions believe? That's the question. Gee, Rabbi, I keep getting angry. Is it wrong to be angry? And I wait, and then the question comes. The person is really angry, furious, and they don't want anyone to know because of what it'll show them or tell who they are. Anger is one of our emotions. We're going to get angry. We're going to worry. We're going to be upset. That's a given. So why not come right out? Why do we have to Why do I have to wait for the something else? Why do we have to do that? Someone asked about an event at the synagogue, at the temple. A logistical, nothing kind of question. And what they really want to know is there a little in-group, or will I be noticed, or will I be ignored? Is there a place for me at this program? It's hard, I know. It's tough to say what you really mean, but it would save a lot of angst, and it doesn't hurt to be honest. The question these people ask me is the wrapping paper. The real thing is the gift inside. I can dismiss advertising. Politicians, we've all learned that, I don't know, maybe Mark Twain said it. How do you tell when a politician's lying? Their lips are moving. So we've all become cynical of advertising. We've become cynical of politicians. And let's not become cynical of each other. Let's make the question the gift, not wrapping paper. And we do this to ourselves, unfortunately. We all do. Oh, I'm fine. When actually, I just let go of the rope. I'm in free fall. We say, oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't bother me. Well, it matters a lot, and it really does bother me. We often say, oh, I'm just tired. I'm really heartbroken. And I don't know how to say that out loud. We all know when something is hiding something. We feel it. We just don't always have the words for it. And let's keep in mind, when someone says to me, how are you? It's just a way of saying hello. They really don't want to hear a litany. But we do know that there are people, when they ask us how we're doing, then we really should give them an answer. I'm sinking. I can't swim anymore. Can I talk to you? The wrapping, the paper, the gift. When God calls out to Adam in the garden, after the incident with the apple, God says, where are you? Now, this isn't a GPS problem. God knows where Adam is. The question is an invitation. Come out. Stop hiding. Show me the real you. Not the you hiding behind the tree. Not you managing your image for the public. Not you presenting the headline version of yourself. God is really a friend, our friend. And God is asking each of us what he asked Adam and Eve. Where are you? Not a GPS question. You. Apho. It's one of the most important words. And it's not God being confused. No, God's not confused. He's modeling something for us. This is how you talk to someone who is in hiding. You don't expose them. You don't shame them. You ask a simple, gentle question that opens a door. Burger King, the burger is 35% smaller than the ad. Red Bull won't give you wings. Politicians are not always fighting for the families, and celebrities fly private jets to climate summits, and religious leaders sometimes preach water and they drink wine. But you, are watching. You are listening right now. And you have the ability to do something different. You can ask the real question. You can answer with the real answer. Even once a week, even just to one person, your significant other. Drop the costume. Say what you mean. And when someone in your life is clearly hiding behind a surface answer, just quietly and gently ask, no, really, how are you? How are you? We live in a world of headlines. We swipe, we scroll, we slogans. The spin meisters spin everything which way but loose. Everything is designed to trigger reaction before you think. But the soul, our souls don't live on the surface. You and I were made for depth, and depth starts with honesty, even when it's inconvenient, even when it may cost something. This week, read past the headlines, listen past the first answer, and when someone talks to you, if you trust them, if they're friends, if someone's close, and they say, how you doing? Don't say, I'm tired. Don't use any of those platitudes. You know what? Say, I need to talk about some things. I don't want to hide anymore. I don't want a wrapping paper. That's my message for this evening. And if you have specific questions, remember you can always email me and I'll make it a show. If you want to co-host with me, email me. I guarantee you'll co-host with me. Okay? No questions asked. And so let's end here. We're going to read past the headline. We're going to listen past the first, and we're going to somehow find someone that we can be honest with. Always be honest with God, because God always wants to know where we are. Thank you, and good night.